Welcome into Duval Daily, presented by GenJag.com. I'm Jordan DeLuga. Thanks so much for tuning in here on Wednesday, May 7th. Got some breaking news for you from the Jacksonville Jaguars. The team has announced they released wide receiver Gabe Davis. Signed just a year ago. Gabe Davis, his time in Jacksonville, not going to be fond memories for very many people involved. I think Gabe Davis was dealing with injuries throughout the summer last year, kind of dealt through injuries throughout the year, maybe played through some things that he shouldn't have, did not end up going great. Regime change in Jacksonville, and they decide to move on. And the only reason that it kind of comes as a surprise is just the money, the cap part of it, right? Like it kind of seemed like, well, maybe you could figure out a way to keep Gabe Davis around and be a role player for you in 2026, in 2025, before you can really get out of that contract and save a lot of cap space in 2026. But the Jaguars, in my opinion, wisely have decided to move on. And look, the Jags are in a very healthy cap situation. They didn't need Gabe Davis's cap savings to have a good cap situation moving into 2026. Right now, they've still got $27 million in cap space for 2025, so they can do pretty much whatever they want when it comes to if they need to add a veteran, trade for a veteran later in the season, whatever they want to do. They've got plenty of cap flexibility there. And then you're looking ahead at 2026, and they've got enough cap flexibility in 2026 as well to be able to continue to kind of operate however they want. There's a lot of veterans they can move on from. But I think the reason you're probably seeing this happen now is new regime comes in, and they want to feel it out with all the different players that are there, the holdovers. And they've felt it out over the last month or so. And it probably just didn't seem like a situation that was going to work because, again, even though Gabe Davis was set to make a lot of money with the Jaguars and still will make money with the Jaguars this year, he was not going to be prominently featured in this offense. I think that was clear. And I think Gabe Davis, probably a little bit of pride kicking in. He's like, I'm not going to be no wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5. Like, that's not for me. Like, let's cut it loose and let me have an opportunity to maybe go play somewhere else and earn a larger role. I don't know that role will come. I don't know how many teams are going to view Gabe Davis as anything more than, at best, like wide receiver 3. Just based on the way things have gone the last couple years for him. But that's the situation they're in right now. And so what we don't know is if the Jaguars are designating this post-June 1. If they do designate it post-June 1 for Gabe Davis, let's see here. They can save $794 million in cap space and only have a $5.7 million in dead money this year. So, and they're going to have some dead money on it again next year as well. But for a player that they just didn't think was going to provide value and elevate the room, elevate the ecosystem, I think that's the only reason you wouldn't keep him around. So I think that's clearly their reasoning, the way they felt about this thing. And I think that they should make it a post-June 1 cut because they haven't done that yet this year. You can do it twice, and that's just going to be the most advantageous way to maneuver with the cap, with the salary cap. And they'll have even more cap space next year with moving on from Gabe Davis. So a little bit of a surprise again just because of the contract situation that's involved here, but this is a team that I don't think is going to let a bad contract signed by a former regime stop them from operating the way they want to operate, and they're not going to just say, hey, we got to keep this guy around because of the money. That's just like sunk cost, right? If he's not going to benefit your room this year, absolutely, it's time to move on. And so that's what the Jaguars have done. And, I wish Gabe Davis the best moving forward. I hope he's able to find a new home and have a fruitful rest of his career because I think he is a good dude and he's a professional. But it just wasn't going to work out here, it looked like, because again, he was going to be asked to be like a bottom of the roster receiver. I mean, he was going to probably have to play special teams, do a lot of stuff that he's just not used to doing over the last few years of his career, especially when you look at the fact that the Jaguars were very active when it comes to adding wide receivers, even after moving on from Christian Kirk and Devin Duvernay and Josh Reynolds. The Jags, they went out and they got De'Ami Brown in free agency, and I think he's clearly their wide receiver 3 right now. And then they went and drafted Travis Hunter, traded up to get him, your wide receiver 2, and Brian Thomas Jr. being your wide receiver 1. You have got a lot of talent at wide receiver right now. And I honestly think, based on the way the Jaguars regime, Liam Cohen and co. had kind of talked about this room, Parker Washington was going to be ahead of Gabe Davis in the pecking order as well. I think they like a lot of what he can do. Somebody who has inside-outside versatility, who has return ability as well on special teams, who will really work his butt off and is trying to prove that he belongs in this league, belongs having a prominent role on an offense and or special teams for the Jaguars and for his future, because he's going into year 3. Next year, 2026, is going to be the final year of his rookie deal. He's got a lot to prove over the next 24 months or so in order to, whether it's stay in Jacksonville or find a new home, whatever it may be. There's just wasn't a lot of there wasn't a path for Gabe Davis to really make that impact that he would want to in Jacksonville this year. So you look at this room. What do you think about the wide receiver room in Jacksonville? I'm fired up about it. We've been very clear, or I have been on this channel. The combination of Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter, and also adding in De'Ami Brown, that's pretty wild. That's pretty exciting stuff right there. That's a good. And then Parker as your 4. And they added a lot of good guys in undrafted free agency too. I would not be surprised to see some of those guys make the team or be competing with some of the holdovers from undrafted free agency in the past. So it's a good group, and it's a group with a lot of speed, ability to create separation, come down with contested catches, get extra yards after they catch the football, whether that be on screens or down the field. Can really stretch the vertical plane and horizontally with that speed. Travis Hunter, maybe the best hands I've ever seen of anybody coming out of college. Brian Thomas Jr., obviously his game speaks for itself. He's a 3-level threat. He is an offensive engine. The Jaguars offense will run through Brian Thomas Jr. and then De'Ami Brown, a great complement with his speed, his ability to win on the vertical plane. So this is a group that I think that there just wasn't a place for Gabe Davis. And the Jags, in my opinion, made a good decision here, a really good decision, a forward-thinking decision, a decision that says we're not going to be status quo. And that's every decision they've made so far since James Gladstone and Liam Cohen took over has been the opposite of status quo, right? So that trend continues, and, who knows what else they might do in terms of if there's a player or two that has been signed by the former regime that doesn't really seem to have a place. You could see them potentially move them as well. So continue to monitor that. We've obviously got rookie minicamp this week, which is exciting. On Saturday, I'll be out there being able to take a peek at what the Jaguars have in this rookie class with Travis Hunter, all these guys, your day 2 picks, Wyatt Milam and Caleb Ransaw. I'm really excited to see Bashal Tutin and Jack Kaiser as well. Really the entire draft class. So it's exciting times in Jacksonville. Obviously not a super exciting time for Gabe Davis, but again, happy trails. Wish him the best of luck in the future. Can't wait to see what the Jaguars can do with this wide receiver group moving into 2025 and how they're going to support Trevor Lawrence in this offense. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. If you enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. Y'all have a good one.